Hello, everyone. You are welcome to this live session. So, guys, without taking much of your time, I want us to go directly into what we have for this morning. You can see what I have on my screen there. It has to do with the level of looting happening in the country. It appears we are a little bit distracted, with the recent insecurity issues that has come up, because it's not been long that the current president signed the budget, the 2024 budget, into law, but there are a lot to that budget. I'm going to allow you just take a look at this video and we'll continue from there.
A country that is already homogeneous. This is a country where we have 133 million multi-dimensional poor people. This is a country where insecurity is at its heel. You saw the report that was released the other day. Nigeria is second to Afghanistan in terms of corruption.
Looking at the 2024 budget.
So, guys, it has to do with corruption, the level of corruption. Nigerians, APC is one thing that has happened to Nigeria that we will not forget in a hurry. I mean, we are not going to forget the government of this party called the APC in a hurry, because Nigerians thought, oh, Buhari was that bad man, who has come to destroy Nigeria. Some people even said Buhari took Nigeria 100 years backwards. But we cannot even, till now, we've not got to understand the kind of experiences that we are going to be seeing under this government. Can you imagine that we have 3 different budgets running at the moment? Let me allow you just take further look at this.
What do you think our government is prioritizing? Very recently we had the scandals especially on social media about like fake foods and fake products flooding the market. However, when you look at the amount allocated to NAFDAC for lab equipment, it's about 167 million naira. But in the same budget, you have 3.5 billion naira going to build an office for the president's SAs and SSAs. You have 6 billion in the State House going to purchase new cars for the presidencies. You have 50 million going to purchase a helipad or build a helipad for the State House liaison office in Lagos. However, we have less going into supporting women within the Ministry of Women Affairs. We have less going into building lab equipment or buying lab equipment in NAFDAC. We have less going to these agencies that impact our daily lives. So do you think this budget shows that the government is prioritizing the funds properly?
They've simply prioritized and legally authorized the sharing and the looting.
That they've authorized the sharing and the looting. That's just what the budget is all about. They did not capture key areas. They just their concentration was more on let's buy cars, let's renovate here, let's build this and all that. But key things that will affect the ordinary people weren't captured.
They say with every sense of responsibility. If you look at that budget, it's very depressing. And you are even talking about cars and the 20 billion naira budgeted to refurbish and build new houses for those already reeking in luxury, the president and vice president. You didn't even look at the place where they budgeted 6 billion for car park, 6 billion for car park, 3 billion for books. How many of them can even read?
How many of them can read? 6 billion for car park, another billions for books. How many of them can read? How many of them read? Even the newspaper that they always allocate money that they use in buying, do they read these newspapers? Nigerians, we have leaders, when Buhari came into office, people were like, since Buhari left, as an ex-military general, he didn't write a book, he didn't go to school, he didn't upgrade his knowledge, and all of a sudden he just came out from where he was rearing his cattle and said he wanted to become president. And what happened? He became president. And today they are allocating money to books that they will never read. That is the level of looting.
To be sincere. And where they budgeted a lot of frivolous things. Just like we heard Shehu said, they budgeted 200% for the National Assembly. It's very unfortunate that we've gotten to this level. I was sharing with somebody yesterday. I said, looking at where we are today, the person was telling me, oh, after Christmas, dollar will come down to naira. I said it will not come down. Because if you look at it, 50% of the demand pressure on the dollar is corruption driven. The same thing with the boom in real estate property businesses in the high-brow areas. If you go to Banana Land, over 50% of the properties are empty. The same thing in other areas. Is one of the ways they launder money is collect the FAC, collect the jack, get the IGR, start looking to the Malams and the BDCs to buy dollar, and then look for properties where they will hide it. And every day we claim we are fighting corruption. That budget was simply putting a legislative seal on what they just want to take.
That is looting, putting seal on what they want to loot. Nigerians, we are in a big trouble, honestly.
Yeah, and distribute among themselves, because it does not make any sense. This is a country that is already hemorrhaging. This is a country where you have 1.3 million multi-dimensional poor people. This is a country where insecurity is at its heel. You saw the report that was released the other day. Nigeria is second to Afghanistan in terms of corruption. And we know that at the root of the corruption in Nigeria is the current structure that we run. Between 1960 to 1966, we ran a republic that had lean cost of governance. In fact, the pecs and salaries of public office holders were tied to that of the civil service. Legislators were part-time. You had men like Sir Louis Odimego Ojukwu, reputed then to be the richest man in Africa, as a member of parliament. Absolutely. He didn't go to parliament because he wanted to go there to enrich himself. He was chairman of 15 corporations. He went there to enrich discussions. He went there to make laws that will add to the value of life for the people.
So guys, you permit me to interrupt this video, that is the YouTube policy. But I want to quickly say here that Peter Obi has always made reference to transactional kind of leadership is what we have in Nigeria. And that is just the problem we have. Because assuming we have leaders who really want to see Nigeria survive, do you know what this new government would have concentrated on? Blocking all the loopholes. But nobody is talking about that. You heard what this man says. There are buildings, empty buildings. Do you know what they use it for? To stock money. So naira, there are a lot of pressure on dollar, and that alone is weakening our naira. And our politicians don't care because these things favor them. It favors them. The level of corruption we have in Nigeria, that is just the biggest challenge that this country has. And look at, a new government is in town. They are doing nothing, in tackling this corruption. They are doing nothing. We've seen some of the government officials who directed, some of the people to send money to private accounts. And now Nigerians are shouting on the social media that they should be sacked. Why is it that these are politicians? They don't care about the ordinary people, because we are the ones to suffer the consequences of all this.
I had a young guy that was 39, Dr. Michael Obada, as the premier of Eastern Nigeria, old Eastern Nigeria. Between 1959 to 1966, he built 214 kilometer industrial belts. He got consultants from the US. He built an economy that was growing consistently at about 9% GDP per annum. He didn't have the benefit of the fossil fuel revenue. He was using palm oil, coal from Enugu and all those stuff. This young man then, 39, he wasn't 50, he wasn't 60 when he became premier, had an efficient regional police force that was more efficient than the federal police. So much that when they were looking for people that would go and make peace at Congo Democratic Republic, they came to take the Eastern Regional Police. There wasn't like banditry, nothing like insecurity, nothing like kidnapping, nothing like militias, nothing like unknown gunmen. Then you can enter Port Harcourt, a truck, and go all the way to Kano all night. Nobody will molest you. Today, we have corruption and insecurity, which is the two demons staring us in the eyes. And to tackle insecurity, we must slay corruption. But see, what they judges in 2015, they came up with this story of, they want to do zero budgeting, and which is how it should be. You look at what had happened over the previous years, you interrogate performance, and now based on that, but what they simply did was to bring out the 2023 budget fleshing it, just do some abracadabra percentage increase over what they did last year. And that is it. And they took it, the president signed. And see, I feel sorry for Nigerians. And you saw what they said. They also included 100 million naira for school feeding. If you do not empower the parents of the student, how do you now want to feed them? This is dehumanizing. I've never, Chief Olusegun Obafemi Awolowo had an education system in the old Western Nigeria that was very efficient. They had a school feeding program. It's not this kind of Babi Al-Almajri thing they are doing for Nigerians.
Awolowo's system trained many of the people.
Yes, in fact, one of those who benefited told me that even their lunch, they used to have half chicken for lunch.
Correct. Correct.
There was competition between the north, the southwest, the old west, the middle belt, the midwestern region. There was healthy competition. You could see everywhere was productive. You had the cotton of the north, the groundnut pyramid. You had the cocoa of the west. Last year, Ghana did $1.5 billion from cocoa. The southwest today can actually do $3 billion from cocoa. The southeast in 1965, Nigeria controlled 45% of the global palm oil market. Today, that market is $72 billion size. Unfortunately, Indonesia and Malaysia came to Calabar 80 years ago to pick the seedlings.
Yeah.
Nigeria is nowhere to be found. We consume over 2 million tons of palm oil. We only produce 1,050,000 tons. And we have a country where the palm grows in the wild. I run a group, the Southeast Farms. We came up with a proposal on how the Southeast government can work under the commune, because land inside is owned communally, to develop 100,000 new tenera palm plantations. Community-wide, every community, 30 hectares, 50 hectares. We will provide them with the seedlings that does about 30 tons per hectare. We even volunteer to get private sector investors. We will set up cottage factories in every local government area, because the Land Use Act confers so much power.
How long ago did you present it?
That was over since 2019. It does not take anything from them. No response, because it will not afford them the opportunity of just awarding contracts, inflating it 300%, and stealing the money. You are not bringing anything. Local government areas, state, work with the communities. Provide them. The other day, you saw what they provided for agriculture. To make agric work, we must mechanize it. Yeah. There was a time they said they wanted to buy 10,000 tractors under the public sector. I said, it's criminality. If you want to do it, work with National Sovereign Wealth Investment Authority. If you go to Akiwumi additional to that, say, okay, we need $1.5 billion under a private public partnership arrangement to mechanize agriculture. We have 8,809 electoral wards in Nigeria. In every electoral ward, under a private public partnership arrangement, there are capable that will manage it. Set them into clusters, bulldozers, caterpillars, harvesters. Right. See, if we have this in place, we can develop 3,500 acres of land in every ward, specialize in every commodity. In the north, Nigeria is the only place where the date palm grows in the wild and fruits twice in a year. Egypt is 95% desert. Egypt consistently decided, okay, we want to use these fruits, these trees, to curb desertification and grow wealth and create oils of wealth. When Bible talked about a land flowing with milk and honey, that milk is from the cow and the animal husbandry. The milk is the dead fruits. Egypt had developed, they are the biggest producers of dead fruits.
Nigerians, you can hear brain talking. You can listen to somebody who has idea. The question is, who among these our leaders can think like this? Who among them can be this creative, can sit down and come up with super ideas like this? Because see, what we have is lack of ideas. We don't have people who've got anything to share with Nigerians. No creativity among our leaders. Nothing. Let me share with you this post. Look at this post. Look at this post that, somebody tweeted. Look at this same post. This is Babajide Sanwo-Olu. This is Atiku Abubakar. Just look at the context of this post. All of them are the same. The same. So this person tweeted and said, who stole the tweet from who? who stole the tweet from who. See, our leaders, they don't even think. You can imagine, just for you to tweet a very short tweet, you will go to steal somebody's phone to tweet. You can retweet somebody's tweet, but people in positions like this, what is it that you want to congratulate somebody? You just copied exactly what another person copied, what another person wrote to congratulating someone that you feel that did something good. That's to tell you the level of, will I say, rust in some brains among the leaders in our country. This is the biggest challenge we have. People do no longer want to sit down, think, be creative. And we saw during the campaign when Peter Obi was quoting statistics, and they say, now statistics, look at Peter Obi, at his age, he can give you the multiplication of any figure you give him. And instead of us to applaud such a person, people were asking, now statistics we go chop. And now it's time for us to start using that statistics. We don't have brains that can really manage it. That is the issue we have today in Nigeria. And honestly, if we continue this way, you can imagine that people from Indonesia came to Nigeria years back. They stole these palm seedlings and went to their country. Now they make real wealth from that. While Nigeria, it's as if palm oil is even going to extinct because people are no longer interested in doing, or our government is not even helping out individuals who really want to.
As wealthy as they are, from 2006 till now, have developed over 1 million hectares of the date plantation. Nigeria, if the 19 northern governors, we send proposals to them, can decide every state 50 hectares, in 50,000 hectares, in clusters of 40 hectares, it will serve three purposes. It will enable you to have agro rangers, 25 armed and fully trained within every locality. They understand the environment. Yes. It will help even the pastoralists, the nomadic herdsmen, to see where they can have water and collocate with those guys. 50,000 hectares in every of the states. In 5 years, the northern states across the whole value chain will create 2 million jobs and be able to produce $12.5 billion annually over the next 70 years.
Doctor.
Yeah. But these guys are not thinking. You cannot cure poverty by throwing stipend at people. The average Nigerian
palliative,
with his limbs and legs intact, can make 5,000 naira every day. We are not lazy people. But they just want the enabling security environment, the enabling policy, physical environment. And the only way we can achieve this is for us to go back to the constitutional, physical, resource production and control and socio-economic structures that we had between 1960 to 1966. As long as we are dealing with this Abdulsalam Abubakar 1999 constitution, I will tell you, Nigeria will continue to progress in error. We will continue to progress. From 1999 till now, we've been going down. The best government we had was Obasanjo's government. After Obasanjo, Yar'Adua came in. That good man, God bless his soul, health could not allow him to perform. From Yar'Adua till now, we have been progressively going down the drain. And from what I've seen now, last time I came, I said, let us hope. Hope is the only thing that will keep us alive. But I can tell you, from what I have seen, from the local government areas to the states, I devote 4 hours every day looking at these things. I tell you, only God will save us. Only God will help us.
So guys, we have people who do not think in leadership positions. Look at the north. Go and see the natural resources in the north. Do you know the gold in Zamfara? Possibly it's not even captured. I mean, they just, whether they license private politicians to just solely own the gold in Zamfara, while Ghana is making a hell of money from gold. Somebody said the gold in Zamfara, that you can't even compare it with that of Ghana. And Nigeria is poor. They told us they met a bankrupt Nigeria. I don't know how people feel. There are things you see, you want to cry. I don't know the kind of leadership we've got in this country. And INEC keep worsening the whole situation, INEC and the judiciary. Because had it been they left elections, on a plain field for Nigerians to just go out and choose whosoever that suits them, we can never be where we are today. Nigerians are smart people. We want a better country. There is no way you go to choose somebody except for those who are tied to ethnicity and religion. But now it's becoming clearer to them because the situation in Nigeria is biting on everybody. I mean, everybody is feeling the heat. The poor, the rich, the big, the mighty, the small, whosoever. So we have people who do not even think. Look at the idea this man is bringing to the table. The North has a very dry land, and that's why the headsmen keep coming down the South in the name of their grazing. And at the end of the day, they're wasting people's lives. And he has proposed to them, let's start planting dates. This is what Israel is doing with their desert land. Planting dates, you will get people who will be watering it. Before you know it, those land will no longer be that dry. And even these herdsmen will get to benefit from it. But our northern leaders, go and see the government of Niger State recently told the federal government to be giving them more allocation. All their eyes are on the oil that we have, just that one oil. Any day that oil finishes, possibly there won't be any nation again called Nigeria. Is so pathetic, honestly. When you listen,
yeah, there was a point where you said, you looked at the budget and it just seemed as if it was an abracadabra, like some magic trick.
They budget. Just took the 2023 budget
and then
decided to just add up. Go and look, take out time to read that document. Yeah. You will weep.
I want to focus on the deficit because it's expected to be financed through new borrowings. Yeah. Privatization proceeds and the drawdown on multilateral and bilateral loans. Now, from a fiscal responsibility standpoint, how sustainable is this approach? What risk does it pose to the Nigerian people? Because as passionately as you speak about it, this has been signed and those monies are going to be borrowed.
Which assets are they going to sell? But when Buhari handed over on May 29, 2023, our total debt level was about 77 trillion.
Yes.
Today, it's about 87. Over 10 to 12 trillion had been added over the last 6 months across the 3 tiers of government. Recently, they were just asked to securitize way and mean 7.8 trillion. What did they even see? The first part, what did Buhari do with 22 trillion? In fact, that creation of 22 trillion was what affected forex instability, created forex stability in Nigeria. Nobody bothered asking, what did you do with 22 trillion? And they are going the same way. Now we talked about saying assets. How many assets are you going to sell? We'll see. One of the reasons why NNPC as currently structured is still 100% government controlled. Look at BNP Paribas. Look at British Petroleum. Look at Petronas. Look at Petrobras. Look at Emirates Oil. Look at the structure.
Yeah.
The only way the NNPC can work and work efficiently, just like the Nigerian liquefied natural gas, is for government to sell off 55% of its holding. NNPC is valued about 60 billion. Selling it down will give us at least $34 billion that will come into our federation account. We don't need to go and borrow anything. Let me tell you what will happen. When you sell off this and bring in deep-pocketed, technically savvy private sector investors, NNPC will be shielded from going from House of Rep to House of Senate, from one minister going about to go and model up things. They will become like, have you ever seen the LNG director MD being invited by Rep or House of Senate or any other person harassing them? Allowing them to function efficiently, this way, allowing them to run this way. I tell you, in the next 2 years, we will get new investment of no less than $50 billion. Nigeria has capacity to ramp up reserve to 40 billion barrels. Nigeria has capacity to produce over 3 million to 4 million barrels of crude oil every day. Nigeria can decide, okay, just like Angola, we don't want to be part of OPEC. We will refine everything we consume here. Encourage modular refineries. See, we will be the hub to supply refined white petroleum product to all the sub-Saharan Africa. We have a 600 million market. And then bring in the gas sector. If NNPC is unshackled, and the only way you can unshackle the NNPC is to remove them from undue influence of those in Abuja, allow them to run like the British Petroleum and the likes of other corporations where there is transparency and efficiency.
Okay, Doctor, let's quickly bring in Sheung. Adeswa, please go on.
Yes,
so guys, the Prime Minister of Italy just said something a few days ago. She said Nigeria shouldn't be given any charity, as in we should be seen as the way the developed or developing countries are seen. We don't need charity. We don't need charity. Africa doesn't need charity. Nigeria doesn't need charity. From all this analysis that this man is making here, you can see that Nigeria has no reason to be broke. And this budget is going to be, as in the money for this budget is mostly going to be borrowed. It's just that they are going to be selling some assets. Tell me, how many assets are they going to sell? Who and who is even going to buy it? How much are they going to buy it with the value of Naira today? So mostly they are going to be concentrating more on borrowing to fund this budget. And when you go to that budget, you go and see allocation for this person's vehicles, this person's renovation, this person, these things that don't make meaning. Nigerians, that is the money that you and I, children unborn, are going to pay. You saw how much Buhari left, 77 trillion. And this government, within the space of 6, 7, maybe 8 months, has increased it to 80-something trillion. Nigeria, there is fire on the mountain, honestly.
Cheryl, I'd like to ask you, Mr. Because you do budget and you were talking about financial impropriety, or, you look into financial impropriety through budget. I want to ask especially about EFCC's budget, because in this budget, EFCC has budgeted 413,745,756 naira to purchase new vehicles, but they have also budgeted that exact amount, 413,745,756 naira, to purchase software for their headquarters, and they have also budgeted that exact amount, 413,745,756 naira, to purchase fittings and shelves. If our EFCC, which is supposed to look at financial crimes, is budgeting down to the same last 6 naira, is this something we should be worried about as Nigerians?
Yes, and I think it's a clear indication that Nigeria budget, it does not follow evidence of planning. People and something that the Tinubu administration has to look at. People sit down as account officers or budget officers of MDAs. They allocate amounts to them. We call it envelope budgeting. You say EFCC, your envelope for this.
So guys, this video is cutting. I think there is a problem here. I don't know why, but I would have loved you guys to listen to the brilliant idea of this man. So you've seen that even the EFCC is also into this mess. This is a body that is supposed to even look into the budget to see who and who padded his own. And from the analysis the man gave, they just brought the last budget and just did some abracadabra. You go there, nobody sat down, no time to think. No time to think and see what Nigeria needs, what we need at the moment that we didn't. Maybe we needed something last year, but we don't need them this year. They didn't look at all that. They just used the last year's budget and it kind of give it some touching, polish it a little bit, and came and passed it. Now it has been signed to law. And you know what that means. Once it has been signed, it has been signed, meaning we are mandated to work with that budget. So Nigerians, that is what we are saying. We have leadership issue. We really have leadership issue. And for those of us who think, oh, this is all about tribe, it's all about religion, we are just taking this country backwards. Let's face the fact, Nigeria needs help at the moment. Like I said, the Prime Minister of Italy said, Nigeria is not a poor country. We shouldn't be giving charity. Africa is not a poor country. We shouldn't be giving charity. We should be seen as other countries of the world, other big countries, the way we look at them. That same eye should be looked at Nigeria with, because we've got the money. They are there. They are watching the kind of money that is being allocated to buying vehicles and buying SUVs and bulletproof cars. We've seen some of them saying that how much they've allocated to buying tires and, so many funny things in this budget. And you want them to believe that Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is not poor. Anyway, I'll try to play that video later, but let's just take some of all this. This is coming from Mr. Boala Danne as regards to You know, there's been this is the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, and it is being said that she ordered, the transfer of a certain amount of money into a private account. And this is Mr. Bualadane reacting to that. This video clip, I'm going to be playing that video clip, but instead, this video clip is self-incriminating in the sense that she was well aware that the funds were meant to be transferred from CBN account directly in capital letters into the accounts of the beneficiaries, yet she acted otherwise. So let me allow you just listen to that video and then we'll come back to that.
That is traceable for Nigerians is the fact that this is a very transparent system that is traceable from the CBN account directly to the account of the beneficiaries. For Nigerians who do not have accounts and do not have the NIN, we are actually working to open accounts and money wallets for all of these persons.
So that is it. She understood the process, but she went ahead to do what, once you get this position, it will just be making people to think otherwise. They will forget all the promises. This was when she assumed this office newly, and she told Nigerians that it's going to be very transparent. But what later happened? This is it. There is a call now. Anti-corruption group calls for the suspension of President Tinubu's minister, Betta Idova, alleged procurement fraud. That is it. It's just because of this money. And we have this woman too, she's under, will I call it a sub-ministry that is equally under the humanitarian ministry. So it's like this humanitarian ministry is a very big loophole. This ministry, possibly it was created to help alleviate the situation of Nigerians, but you can see that it is aiding corruption. It is really aiding corruption. And you listen to the man that spoke. He said, giving Nigerians stipends do not even help. How do you feed people without empowering their parents? You feed them in school, they come home to be hungry. If their parents are, given some skills or empowered, they will still come home and live normal life. And that is what we are saying, that honestly, this government is not even near fighting corruption. So this man is another, and he said, Lucky Betta Edu. She paid 585 million into private account in a single transaction. So guys, there are a lot. Sorry, my voice is not that clear, but you can see. Let me allow you listen to her testimony as to how God helped her.
And I came to thank God. Last year at Shiloh 2022, I prayed and told God that by the next time I come for the next year's Shiloh, I want to be a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On the last day of Shiloh, just as I was working out, I saw Papa, Bishop David Oyedepo, and I went to greet him and meet him as usual. And I whispered to him, I said, Papa, I need you to pray for me. I have just one prayer request now. And he said, what is it? I said, I want to come back to Shiloh 2023 as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He put his hand on my head and he said, it is done. I stood up and I left. I came today to return all glory to God, that in spite of all odds, today I'm a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one of the youngest in the Fourth Republic. People my age are not at the Federal Executive Council of.
Yes, one of the youngest. We thank God for that opportunity. We know this lady is a very vibrant lady, honestly. Let the truth be told. She's very vibrant, and I love that vibrancy in her. But once you join this APC, the contamination used to be very fast. It used to be very fast. I mean, it used to be very fast. So you can see what is happening now. I pray that she comes out to clear all this. Let me still call it an allegation, because it's not going to help her. We know what happened to Kemi, somebody, the former finance minister, under the Tinubu's Buhari's administration, because of forgery of NYSC certificate. She later resigned and left. So people are asking the current administration to equally fire her. I don't know how they are going to be reacting to that, or if they are going to listen to what Nigerians are saying. You see, Tinubu under pressure to suspend Betta Edu as another financial scandal hit humanitarian ministry. So they use this humanitarian ministry as maybe an easy way to do whatever they want to do. But I just hope she still finds her feet in the political space, because people like this are needed. But this APC, if you are a man of integrity, it will be difficult for you to work with them. Honestly, it will be difficult. And that's why when they invited Peter Obi, come and join the team, Peter Obi said, I prefer to be an opposition. Let me be an opposition to keep you guys on your toes, so that each time you err, we'll call you back to order. And that is a good stance for me, because some people will say, Peter Obi, if he has something to offer, go and share it, or go and join the team, go and join the Tinubu's team. But you can see, this is the accountant general. She has come out to say, oh yes, possibly she was given that instruction, but she did not follow it to do the transfer. So possibly that's what saved us from that, maybe losing that amount of money. So we know the video we just watched now talked about corruption. Now listen and read this alongside with me. 11 billion naira for long service award, 10 billion naira for staff training, 5 billion naira for vehicles. How Federal Inland Revenue Service plans to spend 357 billion naira of taxpayers' money in 2027. Nigerians, we know how we have. People say it's not as if we are poor, but spending is where we have issues. These people, they will hide in all kinds of guise to spend and waste the people's money. Look at how people are suffering in the country. There's no food. Nigerians are suffering, and they are just borrowing this money, allocating it to buying of vehicles and things that don't even make any meaning to Nigerians at the moment. So let me still try to play that video and see if it plays. And if not, we go into another topic that I want to share with you.
Billion naira. And so what do people do? They just take different amounts and they just write it.
Oh, what they talked about, one House of Rep member, I think from Edo State, that the president approved 4 trailer load of rice.
Yeah.
This is how they've so dehumanized Nigerians. I calculated it off the cuff. A trailer of rice is about 100 bags, so 2.4 million bags for every of the National Assembly members. That's okay. 1.2 million bags. We're estimated to be 230 million people. 133 multi-dimensional per people. So let us assume, okay, they even shared it to 1 bag for 2 persons, 2.5 million people. So what happened to the rest of the 211 million Nigerians?
Well, the gentleman in Esako constituency said it's not government money, that is from the pocket of the president.
And you could see the glee, the excitement. Like I said, this tokenism will not help us. You cannot solve the poverty problem in Nigeria without touching the foundational structure of Nigeria. We didn't have this level of poverty.
No.
In 1980, the number of poor people in Nigeria was about 4.7 million. China had 769. 1980, look at the numbers. Literacy level in China then was about 62%. Nigeria was about 52%. China concentrated on building education. In our budget, 2% for education. Health, less than 2%. The National Assembly budgeted 15 billion for hospital, for themselves. 15 billion for library and books they will not read.
Correct.
Ew.
China took out time between 1980 to 2005. They moved the literacy level from 62% to 97%. Nigeria has actually retrogressed back. Today we have over 20 million kids out of school. Unacceptable by any world standard. They don't care about that. So we've gotten to a level, if you want to fight insecurity, which is at the core of our problem today.
Yes.
We need to restructure this country.
That's why I was coming to Doctor very quickly, just 30 seconds. This government, this party, campaign on the plank of restructuring, do you have hope that this government can take us to the sense that you printed to us of Nigeria between 1960 and 1966?
Yes,
when things worked?
I have hope. And that hope is prepared on the fact that every Nigerian must stand up to begin to raise this matter and put it on the front banner, because it grieves me. Go to the social media space, people chasing all manner of inanities. Nigerians are not aware of what's actually coming to them this year. And that's the truth. From the clergy to the traditional institutions to the civil whatever organizations, Nigerians must begin to demand vociferously for a total overhaul of the constitutional and physical framework of this country. That is the only way we can be able to take this country back to the era of production. Nigeria, as of today, can produce everything we consume here.
Absolutely.
Nigeria, as today,
I agree,
can export over $200 billion worth of agri products. Right. Nigeria, as today, can make $27 billion annually dollars from the blue economy. See, we talked about capital investment. The rail structure arrangement had been kind of liberalized. States can do it.
Yeah.
I keep on hammering on this. The most lucrative rail routes in Nigeria is Lagos, Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode, Ore, Benin, Asaba, Onitsha, Owerri, Port Harcourt, circle back about Umuahia, back to Okigwe, Oka, Onitsha, to Abakaleke. 872 kilometers. It will take about $8 to $10 billion to do under a private public partnership arrangement. I tell you, a very serious government can rally the 8 states. Definitely. We have a template on how this thing can be done. $12 billion can flow into this economy. You will build that rail line and from housing to health sector. There is no sector of Nigeria that is not a gold mine.
Well,
we don't have people who are thinking in power.
Well, thank you very
no
much.
rigor, no passion, no patriotism.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you, Mr. Chenwo, over in
Nigerians. I think you've heard it. Everybody has to lend his or her voice. We have to speak up. We don't have to keep quiet. People are not thinking. He said $10 billion can solve this. And from there, Nigeria will start opening up in other, areas like real estate and other aspects that he mentioned. But we don't have leaders who are thinking. We just want to sit down, borrow the money, consume, and then possibly they still want to come back again, 2027, sit down, borrow more money, to the detriment of the ordinary people who do not even have electricity, yet they pay their taxes, who do not even have good roads to transport their products, yet they pay taxes. And these taxes you pay, you are paying it to our politicians. They are the one using it, they are the one enjoying it. The elite, especially among our politicians, they are the one enjoying the money of the Nigerian people. If it's not enough for them, they easily borrow. And we know all these bodies and all these countries, they are willing to borrow because they are willing to lend to Nigeria because it's a business. At the end of the day, they are going to get their own interest from any amount of money they borrow to Nigeria. So guys, we are going to call it a day at this point. But I think this video, I thought it would be nice to share it with you all. And that's why I brought it up. And I know we must have picked one or two things and we must have understood what is happening. Like the man said, many Nigerians do not even know what is coming in this 2024. He's trying to say that 2024 is going to be a very tough year for Nigerians. And many people are chasing shadow. People do not care. Nobody is speaking up. Nobody is talking. So we must hold this government, accountable. We must call them to order. We must speak up. Let's not be quiet. That is our work, if indeed we are patriotic citizens. So guys, let's call it a day at this point. I want to say a very big thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to like this video. That's the only way YouTube can push it out for more people to see. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that you get all our updates, and drop your thoughts. I really want to see your comments to let me know what you've got to say about the video we've just watched. And if you don't mind, you can always buy us a cup of coffee by clicking on the super chat or the super sticker beneath the comment section there. That's a way YouTube encourages the people that host live session on their platform. I really want to say a very big thank you. Your presence isn't taken for granted. Let's meet again later in the day. Have a pleasant Sunday day. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye.